Stand Up is the second album by Jethro Tull. It quickly went to number 1 in the UK while a single, Sweet Dream, rose to number 5. Before Stand Up, the band's original guitarist Mick Abrahams resigned because of musical differences with Ian Anderson. Abrahams wanted to stay with the blues rock sound of This Was, while Anderson wished to add other musical influences such as folk rock. The result was an eclectic album with various styles appearing in its songs, yet an album which remained broadly in the blues rock mould, which would be the last such album from Jethro Tull. Production. The design of the album started with a visit to New Haven, Connecticut, during a concert tour in late February 1969. Under the direction of producer Terry Ellis, the band met a woodcarver named James Grasso who followed them for a week in order to properly represent them in wood. The resulting gatefold album cover, in a woodcut style designed by Grasso, originally opened up like a children's pop-up book, so that a cutout of the band's personnel stood up evoking the album's title. Stand Up won New Musical Express's award for Best Album Artwork in 1969. Stand Up represents the first album project on which Anderson was in full control of the music and lyrics. It also marks the first appearance of guitarist Martin Barre, who appeared on every Jethro Tull album from this point on. The band began recording the album on April 17, 1969, starting with A New Day Yesterday, Back to the Family, Fat Man, Jeffrey Goes to Leicester Square, Nothing Is Easy, and Bora Copyright. Most of the songs were recorded at Morgan Studios in North London, but Bora Copyright was recorded at Olympic Studios in South London because Morgan Studios was already booked for April 24. The general routine was that the band would arrive at the studio at 9 a.m. to work on 1 or 2 songs which would be finished by 4 or 5 p.m. Recording engineer Andy Johns tried some new techniques. For instance, on A New Day Yesterday he achieved a swelling, stereo shifting guitar effect by swinging an expensive Neumann U67 microphone on its cable in wide circles around the studio. The song Bora Copyright proved the most difficult session, with Anderson and the band unsatisfied with any of the takes they recorded. The final version was compiled later from several takes, with more touches added by Anderson. 2 more songs were recorded on May 1, 1969, For 1,000 Mothers, and We Used to Know. In August, the band returned to the studio to finish the record. Styles. The song Fat Man shows an interest in unusual instrumentation, as Ian Anderson played mandolin, one of the first times the instrument had been used by a rock band. The instrumental Bora Copyright is a jazzy reworking of Bora Copyright in E minor by Johann Sebastian Bach. Ian Anderson has said that the melody and solo in We Used to Know were used by the Eagles in Hotel California as a type of tribute. The Eagles had opened for Jethro Tull at one time. Critical reception. The Rolling Stone review was quite positive, stating that the album has a fairly low raunch quotient, true to form, but it is quite marvelous. As I've said, the album is not really funky. Rather, it is a meticulously crafted work which deserves careful listening. At a time when many of the established stars are faltering, it is a particular pleasure to hear an important new voice. Robert Christgau was direct in his critique. People who like the group think this is a great album. I don't like the group. I think it is an adequate album. AllMusic review was positive, saying that the band had solidified their sound with the album, bringing an English folk music influence to several of the songs, atop an overall blues rock foundation. Releases. The album was reissued in 1973 by Chrysalis Records. In 1989, an MFSL remaster was released. Again, the album was reissued in 2001 as a digital remaster. The album was reissued on October 5, 2010 as a deluxe edition including 6 bonus tracks on Disc 1, and 2 additional discs, a disc of live material recorded at Carnegie Hall on November 4, 1970, and a disc with a DTS surround mix. Track listing. Standard, 1973 cassette version has same track order, but on opposite sides. All songs written by Ian Anderson unless otherwise indicated. Side 1, Side 2, 2010 Deluxe Edition. Chart positions. The album reached number 1 on the British charts, also selling well in the United States, where it reached number 20. In the Norwegian charts, the album was the first to chart there, at number 5. Personnel: Ian Anderson Euro vocals, flute, acoustic guitar, Hammond organ, piano, mandolin, balalaika, mouth organ, Martin Lancelot Barr Euro electric guitar, flute, Glenn Cornick Euro bass guitar, Clive Bunker Euro drums, percussion, additional personnel, Andy Johns Euro bass guitar on Look Into the Sun, and engineering for the whole album, strings arranged and conducted by David Palmer. References